Hey guys, it's BrowncoatNerd. Thanks for joining me again. I've got another gun review video for you. This one's going to be on the CZ75B. This one's chambered in 40 Smith & Wesson, and this particular gun holds a special place in my heart as being the first good quality firearm I had purchased since I rediscovered shooting. I had a bunch of cheap guns, well not a bunch, but a couple cheap guns that were just total junk, not reliable. Then I kind of stepped it up and had some guns that were reliable but not very accurate. And after shooting, some of my friends' guns that actually had good stuff, I discovered I was doing pretty good. So I decided to kind of step up and get a good quality firearm. And this one was a private sale. It was a really good deal. I did not really know anything about CZ75s other than they came out of the Czech Republic and they were a Cold War era gun. And I've always had a soft spot for those, and the price it was at, I jumped on it. And I have shot it a bunch, and I have been very, very happy with my purchase. Do not regret it one bit. And I couldn't tell you how many rounds I've shot, but I've had it for a couple of years, and I've honestly had zero malfunctions with this guy. So it's pretty accurate. I'm a lot more accurate with it, and it's been extremely reliable. So it is my friend, and I will be holding on to this gun for many, many years, if not forever. Now, these guys are made in the Czech Republic. Like I said, it's kind of a Cold War era gun. I've always had a soft spot for Cold War era guns. I don't know if it's because I watched Red Dawn growing up as a kid too much or what, but that's just kind of is what it is. Now, the traditional CZ75s were chambered in 9mm, and they kind of have a different profile. Here on the slide, you see it's got a full-length slide rail. It is the 9mm. It does not. It stops right here, and then it kind of goes down on the contour. And this is contoured a little bit different. Makes it look a lot more like a Browning High Power. And the gun itself is actually kind of designed off of the Browning High Power mechanics as well. So there is definitely a relationship there. Kind of one of the claims to fame for the CZ75 and what's really known for is the way that they do kind of set up their slide. Your typical handgun, the slide's going to go over the frame and then clamp onto the frame from the outside. Whereas the CZ75, the slide goes inside the frame and then clamps outwardly on the slide. That's supposed to increase the durability and accuracy of the gun. As to whether that really does any of that, I can't say, but I mean, it is a great little gun, so it's not affecting it in any negative manner, that's for sure. Let's see. The sights are your traditional 3-dot sight. As you can see, the insert on my front sight did fall out. I haven't really been jumping the gun too much on replacing that because I can't decide which sights I'm going to go with. These are glow-in-the-dark sights. They do need a shot of some light before they glow, and they are not the brightest glowing thing, but I guess it's better than nothing. There's a whole bunch of clones of these CZ75s out there as well, from a ton of different companies. Some of them bad, some of them really good, some of them even maybe better. And of course, if you're watching the anime and you're familiar with Cowboy Bebop, you'll see Spike wielding a Jericho 941 quite often, which is a CZ75 clone. Also got some, I don't know what you'd call this, not really checkering on the top of the slide here, but some serrations. Supposed to help cut down with glare. And like I said, both the front and rear sights are changeable. Trigger guard, you got this nice little groove here to help you, grip onto it from the other side. That's weird holding it with just my left hand. And I don't know if I said it, but this gun has been safety checked. Very big trigger guard as well. So ease of using this with gloves should be easy. Polymer guide rod. Some people really hate that. It doesn't bother me none. I've had no issues with it. Eventually it probably will be changed out once I finally hunker down and start tinkering with this gun. Safety. Cannot be engaged while the hammer is down. Like in 1911, it can only be engaged when the hammer is back. So you can only have the safety on in the cocked and locked position, which is fine for me. Right now, this is my nightstand gun. Keep it in my little quick access safe, chambered and cocked and locked, and I just feel that's the best way to have this gun for that purpose. So a lot of the newer CZs, the polymer models, as well as some of the metal frame ones, you do have an option of swapping that safety out for a decocker. So I wouldn't be surprised if there is a kit that you can do this on, kind of your standard 75B. Now the safety is ambidextrous on this one. I have seen some models where it's just on the left side. I don't know if you can pop that out and flip it over to this side if you're lefty. And I feel like even the ones that have the safety on the one side, I think they still have that red dot on both sides. I might be wrong on that. But if you are specifically wanting the ambidextrous safety, make sure, and you're ordering one online or something, make sure it is actually the one with the ambidextrous safety. Your hammer here is just kind of, it's not the spur type, it's just kind of a round. I don't know if you call that tactical. I get plenty of grip on it though, and pull it, you know, it's no issue for me. Nice beaver tail here. The grips are not original. These are the Hogue recoil reduction grips. As to whether or not they really reduce the recoil, I can't say, but they look kind of cool, and they do feel nice. I really like the finger grooves in there. It does feel good, and like I'm able to get a little more stability with it. I do hate the fact that the side panels of these grips are just flat. The original ones had a nice little palm swell. These are the originals, just plastic, got the little logo down there. But as you can see, they've got a nice palm swell. It doesn't really look that aggressive, but man, when I held this, I didn't realize that the original grips even had a palm swell at all. But it is very noticeable with these. So I like the finger grip on these, but I hate the palm swell. They're cheap, they're rubber, they're going to get beat up over time, and I figured once that happens, I'll just put the originals back on there and call it a day and probably leave it at that. Or I might even get some wood panel ones. But I really miss that palm swell. It was nice. The back strap is just smooth. The front strap, which you can't see because of this grip, it is also smooth. So you don't have any texture there. This gun really doesn't recoil that bad. It's a pretty smooth shooter, so maybe that slide and the way it's set up does help. And going back to the slide, a lot of people are kind of put off by this gun because of the way it's set up. You have this very short little slide here, very little gripping surface to grab. And when I first got the gun, it kind of felt weird racking the slide. I felt like I was struggling, even though I really wasn't. I don't know if that makes any sense. But after shooting this gun just for a little while, I very quickly got comfortable with it and really no longer noticed it. You get plenty of traction with what you have there. It does look awkward, and like I said, it kind of takes a little bit to get used to, but it's really not that bad. So if that's something that's holding you off on buying one of these, I definitely recommend, at the very least, just going to a gun store, holding it, just kind of wrecking that slide a few times. It's really not that bad. Now, some of the clone versions of these, like the Jericho 941, does have the safety mounted on the slide like on a Beretta 92. And I would probably recommend staying away from those. On the 92, it doesn't bother me because it's got a beefy slide. Whereas on this guy, it's a lot slimmer, and I feel like that would just get in the way. So that's definitely something you'd actually want to handle in person before making a purchase if you're going to do something online or anything like that. Mag release is over here, just your standard American style mag release. Drops free. Mags are made by Mitgar, however the hell you pronounce that, you know who I'm talking about. The factory ones are 10 rounds. Got 2 holes on the side to indicate your capacity in there. I wish it had the multiple holes on the back, but I can live with that. You have a ton of aftermarket options out there for these magazines. You got a ton of options on springs. You have a lot of options. Even though you might not be that familiar with the 75, you do have a ton of options. And really the best gun to compare it to would be a Beretta 92. This one's an older S, but the lines and size and everything is all pretty much the same. So just a quick side-by-side, they look pretty much the same, and they are pretty much the same, but the CZ75 is ever so slightly thinner, both on the slide and the frame, and I don't know if you're able to tell that at all, but it's just a very slight difference. It's not big at all. And then the 92 is just ever so slightly longer as well. So they're pretty close, but the 92 is just a little bit bigger than the Beretta CZ75. And this one does have the B on it, which all the newer ones, as far as I understand, will, which means it has a firing pin block. Some people say that the older ones without the firing pin block have a much smoother trigger. I've never fired one, so I can't say that, but I don't know why they'd be lying. And truth be told, I would prefer to have one of the originals in 9mm. That's kind of what I collected, is the older surplus stuff. But this deal just kind of came across me at the right time. And I cannot refuse the price. So on the slide, stop here. I don't think I mentioned that. It's not too bad. I can't operate it one-handed. It's a little bit of a stretch, and I kind of struggle. And that safety kind of gets in your way too. So it's not the easiest thing to lock the slide back with, keeping your hand just in that position. It's not as easy as the 92, but it's still a lot closer than some of the other handguns I have. And just quick little tip, I'm not going to go into teardown, but basically to tear this down, you got two lines here. You want to line those up, push in on this little button here, and that pops out your slide stop. One thing I discovered and I always do, this hammer has kind of a half-cocked feature. And once you pull it back there, that is the perfect distance to line up your slide. Like, your slide will stop once it hits that hammer, and you've got those two lines lined up perfectly. And I find that just makes it easier to do, rather than sitting there and kind of stumbling and whatnot. So just a quick little tip for anyone that's got one of these. But yeah, if you don't have one, I definitely recommend picking one up. If you get a chance, definitely shoot one. They are great handguns. Extremely dependable. I don't know if I said it already, but I've had zero malfunctions with this guy. And this is probably one that I definitely will never get rid of. But thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and stay shiny.